The final reveal about A.B. Wynter's killer's identity in the residence may seem surprising, but many subtle clues in the Netflix series gave it away. Inspired by Kate Anderson Brower's The Residence, inside the private world of the White House, the Netflix murder mystery drama has a typical story setup where it begins with the unexplained death of a main character. In The Residence, this character turns out to be Giancarlo Esposito's A.B. Wynter, the chief usher at the White House. After his dead body is mysteriously discovered in the White House's game room, Cordelia Cupp, touted as the world's greatest detective, is brought on board for an investigation. Effectively combining her analytical skills with her knack for bird-watching, Cupp uncovers one clue after another before she finally concludes the killer's identity in the Residence's ending moments. Although many main characters from the Residence end up on her suspect list, some definitive clues give away that only the president's social secretary, Lily Schumacher, was responsible for the crime. 8. Carpenter Eddie Gomez heard Lily and Wynter arguing. It was previously assumed Harry was the one arguing. Many characters report that they heard A.B. Wynter loudly arguing with someone on the evening of the dinner, which was strange because Wynter rarely lost his temper. Even when he confronted his employees about their mistakes, he did it behind closed doors. Detective Cupp initially had good reason to believe that Wynter was arguing with Harry Hollinger. Harry's side of the story suggested that Wynter had somehow overheard a conspiracy he and his allies were discussing, which eventually led to a conflict between them. Being an usher, Wynter never intended to talk about Harry's involvement in the conspiracy to anyone. However, the fact that Harry kept questioning his loyalty and commitment to his job is what presumably infuriated him. This narrative, however, was dismissed when the show's ending moments revealed that Wynter was arguing with Lily and confronting her for misusing funds and stealing money while working at the White House. 7. Lily did a convincing impression in The Residence's episode 1. She perfectly imitated Elliot Morgan. In The Residence's ending, many clues point towards Elliot Morgan, revealing that he asked everyone to evacuate the second floor and even asked the Secret Service to leave. Jasmine Haney, too, claims that she only sealed the pop door in the murder room because Elliot Morgan called her and asked her to. Morgan, however, is surprised by this, claiming that Jasmine is lying. Instead of confessing to the crime, he denies having anything to do with it. This is when Lily reveals that she impersonated him but defends herself by implying that she was only trying to protect Bruce and Elsie. After Cupp keeps pressuring her, Lily eventually exposes herself, which confirms she is the killer. However, the clues were always stacked against her, given how she made a convincing impression of Elliot in episode 1 when Cupp was interviewing her. 6. Lily kept asking everyone about Wynter. She seemed a little too concerned about his whereabouts. Bruce and Elsie unknowingly tampered with evidence from the crime scene because they believed they were protecting one another. Bruce even moved Wynter's body, and it later ended up in the game room after a series of events led to many people from the house encountering it. After the body was moved, Lily went looking for it and was surprised when she did not find it in the room where she had murdered Wynter. As a result, she started fearing that Wynter was still alive, leading her to ask if anyone had seen him. Most workers in the White House did not make much of this as they assumed she wanted something from Wynter. However, little did they realize that she was looking for his body because she believed she had murdered him. Unlike other White House workers, Lily was always an outsider. She mistreated most employees. After going through A.B. Wynter's journal and understanding how he managed the people in the White House, Cupp deduces that the staff was an entire family unit for him. Although he had a fair share of conflicts with all of them, he always saw them as family. Owing to this, even though many workers threatened to kill him in the heat of the moment, none of them meant it. Lily, in contrast, was an outsider who struggled to fit into the tight-knit dynamic of the staff. She forced her way into the White House using her family connections and disrespected everyone's work to have her own way. While the others worked as a family, she let her ambitions cloud her judgment. Therefore, Lily's inability to empathize with Wynter or any other workers in the White House was the biggest clue pointing in her direction. 4. Lily was trying to upend White House traditions from the beginning. All other employees worked towards a common goal. Almost all workers at the White House ended up arguing with Wynter about their creative differences. However, at the end of the day, they all worked towards a common goal, to keep upholding traditions and serving the greater good. Lily, on the other hand, was dead set on dismantling everything Wynter and his team stood for. She cared little about working towards the common goal and was purely driven by her desire for control. It is this desire that eventually led her to steal from the White House and kill Wynter when he threatened to expose her and harm her reputation. Lily could not have known about the suicide note. She was not around when Cupp found it. Lily seemingly takes her biggest misstep when she asks about Wynter's suicide note. Cupp first found the note moments after Wynter's body was discovered in the game room. During that moment, only characters like Harry Hollinger were around, but Lily was nowhere in sight. Owing to this, she could not have known about the note. Therefore, as soon as she mentions the note, it becomes evident that she was the one who planted it in the first place. When Cup eventually learns that Lily was arguing with Wynter on the night of his murder, she connects the dots and deduces that Lily might have torn the note from Wynter's journal. Since the note read like a suicide letter, she thought it was the perfect opportunity for her to kill Wynter and frame it as a suicide. 2. Wynter received the call moments after his fight with Lily. The caller threatened to kill him. In the residence's early moments, Cup learns that Wynter had received a call from an unknown person on the night of his murder. As soon as he got off the call, he acknowledged that he was going to die. The fact that he received the call soon after his fight with Lily was enough to suggest that she was the one who called him and made him worry about his fate. Although Wynter did not know what she was going to do, he seemingly had an intuition that she was planning to harm him. Unfortunately, he ignored his gut feeling, which gave Lily the perfect opportunity to kill him. Lily cleverly tried to frame Bruce and Elsie. She was trying a little too hard to sell them as the killers. Towards the final moments of the residence, Lily tries to flip the narrative by claiming that she was only trying to save Bruce and Elsie by tampering with the evidence of their crime. This would have made sense if Lily had previously shared a decent relationship with the staff members at the White House. However, Cup realizes she could be lying about covering up for Bruce and Elsie because her history suggests she never cared about the people working at the White House.